All right. I believe we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. I am here on the dot, 2 o'clock. Robert Hill, Daniel, you will not call me late, gentlemen. But we are very glad that you're here on Real American. Today, we're going over a dozen different subjects. There's a lot of news to cover. I hope you're sitting tight because we have so much to talk about just from the anniversary of the Butler, Pennsylvania incident, all the way down to Zohran, to ICE, to California. Even got some European news. I got everything to throw at you guys. So if you like the streams and you like anybody else that we're streaming with, which I'll introduce in a second, like the stream, give it a share. If you want one of our gentlemen to answer your question, you will leave a super chat. Give us a super chat, guys. Rap really appreciates it. The rest of the crew appreciates it. Regardless, we do want you to have a wonderful time. So hello. Today, you want me to address my allegations? You want the allegations against me, Bob? No. But I've got a few guests. I've got Maga Mal, Mr. Luke here with us today.
Coming to you live from outside.
Coming live from outside. And then we got a real Texan.
Hello.
And finally, we have Mr. Yay with us because it's an afternoon stream.
Would you believe it? I'm not asleep hungover.
Amazing.
So
Amazing. Right. Okay. So I got a first super chat from American Nerd for 2. Did Trump betray the base with defending Bondi? No, sir, American Nerd. He did not. He's doing what he needs to cover the thing. We're not going to talk about Epstein. I'm putting the brakes on it. All right. I know a lot of you guys in chat want to talk about it. No.
I just want to make one comment. It's stupid. Look, okay? We have the lowest border crossing rate since the 60s. Nobody's talking about that. Everyone's talking about this stupid Epstein shit. Nobody gives a shit, okay? Focus on the actual issues, and we're winning. We even got TLDR News to admit the economy is doing good, which, never happens. So, we're winning.
It is turning into a giant distraction, and people aren't going to be happy to hear that. But you guys just have to keep in mind, at the end of the day, we do have to keep going. This is going to keep going better. I heard someone actually in comment, a comment I would directly reply to, which said something like, "Oh well, 2-tier justice. I wonder what the government is even supposed to be serving anymore." And let me answer that question. Up until November 5th. A few months ago, it was to persecute the majority population of this country. It was to make sure to tyrannize you, to take as many tax dollars from you as possible, to enact Zohran's dream of taxing the white middle class into non-existence. And it was also meant for, while persecuting you, giving all of your money to foreigners like Karen Bass is trying to do right now as mayor of Los Angeles. That's what the government was for up until November 5th. And today, in Trump's administration, it is actually defending your rights, defending the Second Amendment, going after universities that persecute the majority of this country. So yeah, no, I'll take that over whatever the hell was on the other side. And that's pretty much my close to the Epstein bullshit. Okay, I got a couple super chats and then we're going to go into Zohran. Pixel Art Productions for 2, 2024 Divided States was released on Campaign Trail. Jacob Holly for 10. I am for states' rights as a progressive. We must defend states' rights to employ illegal immigrant labor. In our economy, it makes our country great. We're giving these children valuable job experience. Now Jacob here, he's trying to catch me in a trap because he knows that previously I have advocated for very safe and heavily restricted child labor. But no, at the end of the day, look, we can't regulate any of this. We can't even oversee any of it. These children may as well be in chains. It's absolutely disgusting.
We're supposed to be helping keep the channel monetized and keep the money flowing while Rap's away, not
what
scaring away the
you think me saying slavery is going to. Yeah, anyways. Okay, American Nerd for 2. Don't care about Epstein, just want Bondi gone. Actually same. Actually really same. I really think Bondi should go for many reasons other than Epstein. Cherokee Bear for 3. I think Karen Bass is a lesbian. Yeah, very true. Okay. We're getting into our first story. I just wanted to show you guys this meme while we started because it is absolutely representative of the entire the entire left right now. Leave our child slave laborers alone. Anyways, going into Zohran, New York Post article states Zohran Mamdani said the NYPD, the police department of New York, shouldn't respond to domestic violence calls in resurfaced podcast interview. Yeah, I'm definitely cracking open this one, guys. Okay.
When was
let's
this, by
see
the
here.
way? It doesn't really matter because he still supports it, but like, when was this like recorded?
All right, we're gonna look real quick. Democratic mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani suggested in a resurfaced podcast appearance that the NYPD shouldn't be responsible for responding to domestic violence calls. The 33-year-old Democratic socialist said the NYPD shouldn't respond in a 2020 interview on the Immigrantly podcast, as first reported by the Washington Free Beacon. If, quote, if somebody is surviving, going through domestic violence, there are so many different situations that would be far better handled by people trained to deal with those specific situations, as opposed to an individual with a gun who has received quite a limited amount of training in general, but also in regards to these. Okay, so here, explaining that to you, if you are not a libshit and you need like libshit translation, he wants social workers to show up at domestic violence dispute situations. And let me tell you something. If you guys have ever been in a domestic abuse situation where it has escalated to the point someone is calling the police, listen, it goes on for months and months, sometimes years, before you get to the point where someone calls the police. By the time someone calls the police, people's lives are in danger. I'm just going to be blunt. I have been in this situation, not with my immediate family, not with myself personally, but I have been involved in these situations before. By the time someone calls the police, someone's life is in danger. Maybe a spouse, maybe a child. You do not need some whimsy-pansy psychology major bitch showing up at the door. Just going to be really honest. You need someone with a gun. You need someone with a gun and someone powerful enough to pin down another like grown-ass male. It might be the female. I don't know.
I'd also like to say this. Who should go? We'll let Ye go first. Go ahead.
As someone who's done research into law enforcement, domestic violence calls are the most dangerous call for an officer to respond to. It leads to the most injuries. It leads to the most fatalities for the officer. The idea that we're going to send unarmed social workers to the statistically most dangerous call that can be received outside of, like, I think even like bank robberies tend to go smoother than domestic violence responses. It's insane. And I've argued with people like this. I know an Arab Muslim individual, and he's not a socialist by any stretch of the imagination. I've noticed this. He's not a socialist, but like he's pro Mamdani. One, because he's anti-Israel, and two, because he's also Muslim. It is kind of weird how people's actual like views go out the window when they get someone with the same, religion.
No, and kind of and kind of on that note, what I was gonna say is, we've been told for a couple weeks, in light of this news, that Zohran was going to be a secular Muslim. It doesn't really seem like it with that new thing about the domestic abuse. Just pointing that out there.
There's only one secular Muslim who I can think of in American or Western politics in like the last 20 years, and that was like Dr. Oz. And like Dr. Oz,
it was Dr. Mehmet Oz, dude. Anyways, that's what I was saying. Anyways,
and that was because he was a Kemalist,
I hate this argument that, oh my God, this was 2020, so clearly his opinion has changed. It really hasn't. You don't go from abolish the police, abolish prisons, send unarmed social workers to people beating the shit out of their wives, and then to go to like, oh, I'm actually just a moderate. All I want to do is I just want to move the funding over to something else. I would like to remind you, the NYPD actually does have partnerships with mental health units. So like if there's a call that they don't think immediately requires law enforcement, they will send a team of both an officer and a nurse. That way the nurse handles the situation and the officer steps in if he has to. That's perfectly reasonable. He wants to get rid of that and go to entirely unarmed units. That is in his campaign. That's in his campaign policy status. He's fucking insane. Just beyond saving.
He's insane, but he's also insanely incompetent. And to understand that this 33-year-old man, this democratic socialist who has never worked a real proper job in his entire life, been raised by rich parents, essentially just been raised up in a culture where he essentially never had to assimilate to any sort of standard. He actually whined and complained about being like people making fun of his weird clothes or his beard or the way that he eats food or whatever. And he was like, well, this is why I couldn't get women in high school. No, Zohran. It's because you grew up around people who celebrate and worship the weird. But when it comes to real innate social interaction, when people have to actually be real, you're just going to fall flat. When you are surrounded by people who are obsessed with being weird, and then you are weird of your own nature in a foreign culture, you're just not going to get any bitches. I'm sorry. I have a few super chats here. Let me see here. I think I already read it, but Cherokee Bear, I think Vance is a lesbian. I started laughing. I already read that, but thank you for that super chat, Cherokee Bear. America Nerd for 2, Omar Fatet and Mamdani allies primarying Jeffries. I'm not sure what that's about. We might address it in a minute. Pixel Art Productions for 2, since Luke mentioned it. Thoughts on TLDR news? Luke, did you have something to say about TLDR news?
Yeah, this is what I'll say. They're pretty liberal biased, especially when talking about the U.S. But I think that if you want to get like a good like kind of summary of international news, I do recommend them. Just note they do kind of lean center left, but they're not really that bad. I like them. They're pretty good. But the joke has been recently that they've been just like on the U.S. like the economy's collapsing. The U.S. is done. China's gonna take Europe, all this stuff, and it hasn't really been accurate. But most stuff they're actually pretty good. Like I think they do pretty good videos, especially on foreign elections. So I recommend checking them out. Just note the center left bias. But yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, on that. I looked up whatever TLDR news was, and I found an account that was saying that U.S. seizes Ozempic shipments to Ukraine, citing shortage. I think this is a joke account. I don't think this is the real account. I just found.
Oh no, they don't have a Twitter account. It's all on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, just to show you guys, I thought this was really funny. This is the troll post I just saw. fat Zelensky. Oh gosh. Yeah, but anyways, we have a couple more super chats. Where did my super chats go? Here we go. All right. Right guy for 2. Domestic violence SAR. Where's the tab to discuss Voice of Reason's drama? Oh no, none of these guys really know Voice of Reason, and if they do, they probably don't want me to talk about it. But I think the thing that I would keep in mind for everyone at the end of the day is like, whenever you have someone talking about theology online, just be careful about who exactly they are. Be very wary. Yeah, no, they're not always the most upstanding individuals. I say that for any denomination or sect. Just be careful who you like devoutly listen to. Also, just listen to your priest if you like actually are going to church regularly. Just listen to your priest and kind of trust him over whoever you're seeing online. Anyways, but we have a few more things to discuss. Oh yeah, you guys can see my tabs because I pulled it up like that. Yep. No, that's how I divide up my news subjects.
You got a lot of background noise, man.
That is coming from Luke. Luke, can you stop?
Shit. This is why you don't walk outside. Give me a sec. Let's switch to speakerphone because that's usually better on the audio.
Thanks. All right. Yeah. Apologies about that, guys.
Oh, we're back.
Talk about Elmo. Man, do you guys need to talk about Elmo, guys? Anybody needs to get Elmo out of their system?
Our good friend Elmo. He's a noticer.
You guys remember when the House Democrats when there was all the debate about the PBS funding, when all the House Democrats brought out those Elmo puppets? Remember that?
Yeah.
What were they trying to tell us, bro?
No, Elmo.
Sounds like Elmo's not happy about the PBS funding stuff.
Took over Elmo's account.
It's over.
Yeah. So the PBS funding really hit Elmo hard. So yeah.
No, because my thing, when I found out that someone posted something about the Epstein list on the Elmo account, I thought for a sec, because I didn't see the full tweet. Yeah, I was like, oh, did some like fired federal employee just tweet this on like their way out as like a fuck you? But no, then I see that what they said, it's like, oh, they got hacked.
It's just Elmo. It's just Elmo speaking his mind.
It's just Elmo being real. By the way, we had Poster Tubs come in. Hello, Poster Tubs.
I've been here for 10 minutes, but that's fine. I won't be here.
Yeah.
Look, man. I've been zooming in and zooming out. I've been having people see my tabs. I've got problems. Today. I can't be on top of everything. Yeah, no, nothing bad. No. Okay, anyways,
you guys remember the Vaush incident? Anyways, continue.
the Vaush incident. Yeah, I got my Vaush tabs open. Oh gosh, no. If I actually where it was into the things that Vaush was into, I would probably have already. Okay. Okay, so let's go into the next story. Omar Fateh, think that's how you say it, is running for Minneapolis mayor to raise the minimum wage by over $4 over a few years. He wants to freeze rent in Minneapolis, and he wants to, quote, Trump-proof the city. And as this, also, just to mention, he looks very dysgenic. I don't, that's not part of the news, but he looks particularly dysgenic.
He looks like a villain from.
I mean, yeah, dude, he does. He looks like one of the pirates from Captain Phillips.
I would dare say that he looks vaguely Somali.
Like it's like if you took Megamind into the Somali filter, right? And like half of his brain turned into Afro.
All of them look like already, though. That's like what all Somalis already look like. But like they Megaminded somebody who already looks like Megamind.
Oh gosh. Yeah, no, but I think the point that Texan made before we got on the air was essentially that we're having this pivot in the Democrat Party, and since they've realized the moderate brand is completely dying, people see through it. They tried to pretend Kamala Harris was moderate, but they just can't pretend. It's easier for them to be authentic, and authentically they are socialists. And it's being socialist and being third world kind of come in hand. So you're going to see a lot more candidates like this from the Democrat Party. You're going to see candidates that were not born in the U.S. or are second generation immigrants born to people that came over from a third world country, and they want to implement socialist policies from, the formerly USSR allied Africa, from Asian communist countries. And instead of being people that hate the country that they came from, kind of like some of the Vietnamese refugees that we got and other people, they're actually in love with whatever they came from, like Zohran and his parents. And so we're going to continue having these people, and you're going to continually see Native American candidates on the Republican side, whether they're foundational black or white or traditional Mexican. And then you're going to have people from all over the world on the Democrat side. It's going to be nation versus world, really represented in the candidates. Chance for 5, that Drew guy that Luke had. All right, Luke, this is for you. Luke, this super chat is for you. That Drew guy that Luke has as his profile picture wants Stephen Miller court-martialed for nothing, but, quote, lawfare's not real, we're told, unquote.
I mean, yeah, Drew Savicki. I put him as my profile pic because he's the one guy on election Twitter who looks more homeless than me. So I wanted to show to people, see, I'm not the most homeless person out there.
I think we should court-martial Drew Savicki because he's fucking ugly. He makes me sick just looking at him.
And I will say this: there are people who are just
everyone to hate him. He's gotten everyone to hate him because the progressives hate him now because he thinks that they should be moderating the party. So the progressives hate him and the right hates him. So he's got no friends.
There are people who just naturally look kind of unattractive, and I wouldn't say he's particularly has the genetics to be a good-looking person, but a lot of it is just poor decisions. If this guy shaved his beard and cut his hair down, got some sun, he probably wouldn't look nearly as bad. That's all I have to say about that.
Went outside.
The problem is you get rid of that afro. You get rid of that afro, you're going to realize just how much of that head actually is head and not afro. The afro makes it look like it's more.
We're talking about Drew Savicki.
Drew.
You're Somali.
Yeah.
You're never going to make him not ugly. I'm sorry.
No. But you can make him look a little better though. That's what I mean.
Maybe.
Yeah, you can make some minor improvements. Anyways, continue.
Alrighty. Oh, we have a couple of new chats.
Let me make my comment about the guy in Minneapolis. I think we are going to see a lot more people like this running for mayors, basically across America. Any major city is probably going to have a Zohran type candidate running.
All right, and it actually does remind me.
and whether they're Muslim or not, they're gonna have they're gonna have the policies of Zohran Mamdani, and they're gonna probably in a lot of cases, depending on the popularity of the mayor, they could win. They could win.
And Charlie Kirk said something that I want to echo about these types of candidates. And he's been batting 9 out of 10 recently, so I continue quoting him. But one thing that he pointed out is that people that do come from Muslim countries or that are Muslim, even if they're just nominally Muslim and they're not totally into it and they're just kind of, or even they just pretend to not be Muslim, just remember they have a moral imperative from their religion to take over the government and Islamize it. So you have this impulse,
unless they're Kamalis from Turkey.
Yeah, unless they're
right.
That's like the one exception.
So there's not a lot of exceptions to this rule in the vast world of Islam, which is pretty much as big, probably will be bigger than Christianity soon. You have to keep that in mind. These people have a moral imperative to take over the governments of the cities that they conquer, and they're conquering cities as we speak. You just can't see it because it's happening on such a small scale. We have a few super chats. American Nerd for 2. Yeah, look at Europe. American Nerd for 2. Omar Fatah next year. Look at me. I'm the mayor now. Yeah, he does look like that guy in the meme, doesn't he? Sexy Princess Rider. Always happy to see you. For 5. The GOP will have to form a coalition to defeat these candidates like what Cuomo, Adams, and Slua are doing in NYC. Oh yeah, I don't like the fact
Slua hasn't committed to it yet because he's got this stupid fantasy that he can win. So he's going to inadvertently probably cost us. Sounds like Adams and Cuomo are going to agree to it, which, yeah, Sliwa just needs to stop this fantasy that he can win off a split vote. It's not going to happen, bro. I get he's trying to take a stand, but, like, if you want to seriously stop this, like, just make an agreement. And then you could probably do some good by getting in the administration of whoever gets elected mayor.
I would like to remind everyone that we were relatively close to having this happen. And we were relatively close to getting like a Zohran-type candidate in Buffalo, New York, a couple of years ago. And the only reason that didn't happen is because Republicans all dropped out and endorsed the incumbent mayor who lost his primary. And then he ended up winning by like 15 points.
I like to say, too, that mayor also lost his primary again this year. So.
Yeah, he lost his primary a second time, which that's just...
That's just bad. No. I think Sliwa and... Unfortunately, I don't know, Adams or Cuomo, who should drop out realistically?
It sounds like they're gonna. It sounds like they're gonna make a deal. It sounds like Cuomo and Adams are making a deal that whoever is polling below the other in September drop out. That's what they're planning on.
And Eric Adams has like a negative, 40 or something approval rating.
Yeah, Adams is too unpopular. Cuomo, despite all of his flaws, is less unpopular. I think he needs to be the one to do it.
But will that piece of shit, Curtis Sliwa, that disgusting retard, drop out? Will he drop out? Just tell me he's gonna.
No, probably not.
I really wish I may Fed post here a bit, but I wish John Gotti did the job, man.
Okay. So we're gonna move on. Thank you for your what do you call it? Whatever you call that, Tubbs. Okay, a couple more things. American Nerd for 2. Zohran allies are gonna try to primary Jeffries. Tester is done for 2. Heartwarming to see our first inbred mayors. You may think that's ugly, you may think that's gross, but I've heard people make jokes about Southerners being inbred all the time, and we're one of the least inbred populations in the entire world. It's so ridiculous to have this argument. And then we bring in import people. We import people from countries with astronomical inbreeding rates, and we think that there's not going to be problems.
Rates in Pakistan?
Yeah.
In Pakistan, it's like near 50%. I'm not even kidding. They have problems in the UK where they spend a lot of money because Pakistanis come over, married to their cousins or their brothers, and they give birth to these completely unhealthy, dysgenic babies.
Right. Yeah, like the most Pakistani parts of the UK have like a 50% inbreeding rate or 60%. It's like horrifying.
And again, we're just bringing truth. Remember, every single culture that you import into this country is going to try and challenge and integrate this country. So if you don't like inbreeding as a concept, you should probably avoid importing countries that have a statistical high probability of doing that. It's just bare fact. So anyways, but moving on, I got a couple. We'll zoom through these quick stories until we find one that nabs you guys. I have the surplus that came out last weekend. I wanted to bring that up real quick. The Treasury posts an unexpected surplus in June. The tariff receipts were surging. So for the first time since the very start of the first Trump administration in 2017, I believe, we have a budget surplus of about $27 billion. So
I would remind you, per those numbers, assuming those tariffs rates stay pretty constant, we're raising over $1 trillion a year in tariffs.
Well, right, if we continue, because we're putting on a bunch of tariffs in August, and those are going to bring in revenue as well. And it's amazing because so far the reports seem to see, remember back when we talked about the tariff calculations back in April, and we brought up the fact that one of the things was pass through, and how if the people that were exposed to the tariffs, if those people in particular were having to actually, if those people were having to take too much cost, they would hurt the consumer. We're actually seeing the opposite. We're seeing them eat all of the cost, almost all of the cost from these goods, which is kind of amazing in of itself. We're seeing really great stuff. And hopefully if there is any hard pass through where they do try to pass the cost on to you, the consumer, we do see tariffs reduced in that situation. But right now we are seeing very strong eating of these tariffs from the producers of foreign countries, which actually just means that, hey, the government's responsible for these things, and the corporations that are working together to screw you over, they can take some heat. They can take some damage. That's just something to let you guys know.
I'm going to admit something. I think I was probably wrong about the tariffs initially, because I was a bit more skeptical of it. Like, I wasn't like panicking, saying it's all over, we're doomed, the economy is going to collapse. But I was just a little skeptical of the tariffs in like in a good faith way. And I think I was probably wrong about it. Even if the initial implementation wasn't the greatest, overall it's worked just fine, you know.
None of us were sure, and we had a lot of people that are claimed intellectuals, claimed experts that told us this was going to be a massive problem. So skepticism was completely warranted at the time. But the longer this goes on, the more we have to start asking ourselves, do these experts really mean anything? And actually, my favorite quote, which is from Data Republican, is the entire field of modern economics just a scheme to prop up neoliberal globalism? Really makes you think. Really makes you think. I think that's going to be an infamous quote from her if the trends continue this way.
Interpretation. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to bring up Sexy Princess Writer. Member for 11 months says Trump has offered Sliwa an ambassador role if he drops out. Oh, that sounds interesting.
Then make him ambassador to like Italy or some nice country like that, like Monaco. Make him ambassador to Monaco all he wants. Like, I'm surprised Nick Adams got Malaysia. Like, Malaysia's an okay country, but I mean, Nick Adams deserves to be like ambassador to like a really like Australia or
they
something
put
like
Nick
that.
Adams directly in charge of Ian Miles Chung.
Yeah,
maybe that's intentional. Maybe that's intentional. Yep.
Possibly. And people were asking, there was a longer conversation in chat asking us about the YouGov poll. And I made a comment on it earlier on my X at Real John Rose. I guess I'll keep shilling myself if I'm going to keep doing these streams. At Real John Rose, my comment under America First Insights post was, really seems realistic if you slide it 14 points to the right. And the reason I said that is because their election results back in November were 14 points to the left of the real result. So if you slide that YouGov minus 17 Trump favorability poll, if you slide it 14 points to the right, might start being realistic. Anyways, we have more news from DOD, actually. The Department of Defense will now officially begin using Grok, the company announced. The department has awarded a contract to Musk's company with a ceiling of $200 million. So, no hard feelings.
They're gonna be using Grok. Grok might nuke certain countries, if you know what I mean.
I thought that Grok might nuke certain apartment complexes owned by Will Stancil.
Yeah, a certain person. Yeah.
Yeah, both.
All right.
Do you feel bad for Will Stancil? I don't, but
I absolutely don't. And one of the things someone pointed this out, mine got Niles pointed this out, but he was asking why Grok unprompted started talking about doing funny things to him. because he went and he had a news article made about him, a whole news story. He had people come into his apartment or house or whatever to film himself talking about himself being violated by an artificial intelligence. And all I have to say about that, he was like, why is it trying to violate me unprompted? Because someone had like asked him to roast Rule Stancil, and it brought it up anyways, completely unprompted. Mine Got Niles pointed out, it's doing that based off of your last tweets, your recent tweets. And the only thing you seem to want to tweet about is yourself being violated by an artificial intelligence. And so, yeah, no, he deserves it because he loves the attention. He loves the attention so much, guys. No, I'm going to be honest.
Really you know, the craziest thing about Will Stancil is I initially thought he was like born in 1998. I thought he was like 25, 26, 27, like, you know, mid to late 20s. Okay. But he's actually 40. He's literally 40 years old.
Yeah.
He's like an older millennial. I thought he was like an older Gen Zer. I thought he was like in his late 20s. He's literally 40.
His last birthday is going to be allegedly coming up soon. About a week from now.
No, his 39th and final birthday. Yeah, he's about to have his 40th, allegedly.
Was last year. Oh, yeah, and if you guys look it up, that's really sad. But, you know, his campaign put on, like, a hot dog party for him for his 39th birthday. And, like, the left hates him so much, and even the right hates him so much. Like, only one other person was willing to show up to help him film it. And so it's just him eating hot dogs alone on a park bench with, like, a dog and some guy that's filming him. It's like really sad.
Yeah, was it Elon Musk or what?
No, Will Stancil. But yeah. But yeah, no, the Department of Defense is going to start using artificial intelligence, and we'll see if that creates more efficiency or if that creates more funny mess ups. But we'll have to monitor that situation.
About Will Stancil. Anyways, I gotta go see it.
All right, later. Okay. More news out of Ukraine. And I don't like this news, but we're going to go over it real quick. The news currently is that President Trump has announced NATO will cover the costs of all weapons being sent to Ukraine from the U.S. Just so you know, they're paying for everything. We're not paying anymore. Everything we're not paying anymore. I like that part. I like the part that we're not paying for it. But the larger story is we're sending medium and long distance missiles to Ukraine so that the next time Moscow hits Kiev, they can hit Moscow, or they can hit. They're supposedly targeting critical production bases where they're making stuff to throw at the Ukrainians. So, and of course, I as far as like attacking within the borders of Russia, that's probably the most legitimate targets they could hit. Is, you know, places where they're producing the missiles and everything, all the other crap they're trying to launch at Ukraine. I just don't like that we're going to continue going in this. Trump thinks that he's going to use maximal effort and pressure to get Putin to stop the war. I have no idea how that's going to go. I'm very pessimistic about it, but as far as like what my actual take on it is, I have no idea if this will prolong the war or if it will shorten it or what. It seems like a complete mystery at this point. And you know, he talked about it in the Oval Office. I want to bring this up. Trump brought up in the Oval Office that he was concerned giving Ukraine more supplies would gaslight the Ukrainians, would egg them on into wanting more out of a peace concession. And the NATO administrator right next to him was like, no, don't worry. They want peace. We want peace. We all want peace. Don't worry. We want peace, Mr. President. I don't believe their bullshit for half a second. I'm sorry. I really don't. So I just hope I hope that Putin is pushed away enough that he decides he has to break for peace. And I hope that we get to that point before the Ukrainians are convinced, no, we got to do a second, third, fourth, final initiative. We've got to push the Ruskies out of our territory. If that happens, and this is going to keep going for another year or two, and that's going to be so miserable. Chance for 5. Dave Hale is retweeting libs that wish Trump didn't survive J13 and called him a PDF file. Republicans, my ass, he's gone full resist lib. So have many people that have gotten upset about the recent poor handling of the Epstein case. A lot of these people have gone full on resist lib, and even if they haven't, a lot of their rhetoric is helping those exact same people. And, you know, I could talk a little bit more about that. Like I said, I didn't want to focus on Epstein. I have opinions about the latest news involving Maxwell. But yeah, no, I've been looking at that situation and going, this is going to be really bad. This is going to continue getting worse and worse. And I don't think the people calling for justice are actually helping it that much. I think that they have good intentions in their hearts and minds. And as a Christian, I completely agree with their concerns. But I also think that we're starting to reach the point where we're actually just harming the administration by going forward with this. And so, yeah, I could talk more specifically about why I think that and give you more of like a long drawn out response. But like I said, I didn't want to talk a bunch about Epstein. American Nerve for 2, didn't Nixon put pressure on Vietnam by escalating? Yes, but at the same time, it didn't mix well with the political desires at the time. Which, like, Vietnam was doomed because of the political opinions of Vietnam. If nobody cared about what we were doing in Vietnam, we would have won the Vietnam War. But Nixon was trying to push against a country that we weren't going to be able to continue pushing against just because public opinion was so negative turned against it. So there was no real unscrewing that pooch once the media had decided we shouldn't be engaging in that war. That is one of the flaws of living in a democratic system, democratic republic. Once public opinion turns, you pretty much will lose a war, and you will drop out of a war quicker than you would if you were under a totalitarian system. But honestly, I'll take it. I'll take it, flaws and everything, over the alternative. Tom for 5, Trump's going to neocon on Russia with more weapons and tariffs. This war ends with Russia when Russia says so. Not even Trump has all the cards here. I'm inclined to agree with you. If Trump can, I know Trump, I was wrong about Trump's approach to Iran. He managed to stop the war. So I don't want to go and quickly say Trump's, doesn't know what he's doing. Like, he was able to stop Iran. I don't know if he's able to stop Putin. And that's not me not being a plan truster. That's just me really hating both Putin and Zelensky at this point. I just really hate being involved in their stupid war. Simple Logic for 5. Weird how Bannon has 15 hours of Epstein interview footage and isn't releasing it till next year. Hypocrisy much? ? No, I just think there's probably nothing in the footage, and he wants to make it a big deal, and he wants to make a bunch of money off of it, so he's probably scheduling it accordingly. That, and again, I'm just going to say it, that's kind of the hidden secret behind everything that you want from the story. You want things, and you will get things, and they will be nothing burgers. I don't think what Maxwell could say could be a nothing burger, but that's another big issue. Okay, so moving on. I want to hear your guys' opinion on the autopen new news. We just got new news, and here it is. Holy crap, a Biden official explicitly approved use of the autopen for the last-minute pardons of Dr. Fauci, the January 6th committee, and members and other officials. Trump was right. They need to be nullified ASAP. Quote, Mr. Zients hit reply all and wrote, quote, I approve the use of the autopen for the execution of all of the following pardons per NYT. So we know who pressed the button. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My Discord went low for a second. So now we know who actually sent the message, Mr. Zients. We know who's responsible for the autopen signatures. Do you guys think we'll be able to actually get these guys under wraps and get these EOs reversed?
I mean, I don't really know what the process is for doing that. Like, I really couldn't tell you. If the president isn't the one signing them, I think they could do it. But you just know that no matter how strong an argument it's going to be, they're gonna fight that shit at every turn and claim it's authoritarian and fascist to do so. Yeah,
it's a really tough situation, and it's hard to see us getting out of it, in all honesty. This would be an unprecedented thing, reversing an executive order, but the last presidency was unprecedented, and now we have complete, full proof that Biden did not authorize these orders. Now, of course, if they put Biden on a stand, he'll say that he authorized them, but we know, because we know where he was. He was heading towards the inauguration. He was in the hall waiting for the inauguration to take place. He couldn't possibly have agreed to any of this. And, you know, he didn't really have the mental capacity to in the first place. So it's a sticky situation, but it may just end up being an artifact where we know someone who was not president signed an executive order and it was treated as an executive order. I want justice, but again, with all other things, I'm going to be a little bit more pessimistic on this one. We got Jacob Hawley for 20. Zohran is the future of the Democrat Party. We can bring true socialism to America like Stalin did with Russia. Socialism in one country. We just tax and use government to govern more. If the Dems adopt socialism, they win. Nerd face. Well, that's what they're going to try, and that's going to be the thesis of the Democrats for a little while. I don't think they have any other road to go to. We were like theorizing before a few months ago on this channel, what other tactics the Democrats could resort to. And we were saying, well, they either try a genuine moderate grift and try to genuinely moderate, unlike what they did with Harris. They try to find that Bill Clinton character. But as we've looked around the field, as Democrats themselves have looked among their field of candidates for president and other offices, they've come to a conclusion. The most powerful candidates they have, the strongest personalities, the people who could lead, are all socialists. They're all leaning into communism. They're not the type of people that we could really reliably pretend are moderate. So yeah, that's going to be the future of the party. Zohran, foreigners running for public office in America that promote socialism and have no ties to this country whatsoever. That is that's the future.
I think there's a native Hawaiian candidate that's running the primary out at a case in Hawaii's first.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see. I worry about Hawaii. This seems like it's like a concentrated location for nutters. It seems like D plus.
Well, I have a hot
30.
take with Hawaii. I've been saying that. I mean, I think if the Democrats continue to move left for the next few decades, we could see Hawaiian independence become a major political issue. Maybe to the point where maybe you get like a Hawaiian independence third party that gets seats in Congress.
Well, like maybe, but at the same time, Hawaiian independence is a meme even by like state independence standards. Like the support for it is laughable. It's a borderline polling error, you know. Like I'm sure they'll try, but
yeah,
how's it going? It's probably only popular among like the young voters, anyways. But
right. Welcome back, Luke. We're just talking about where the Democrat Party is going because a super chat was talking about it. I have some more actually big super chats.
Oh, no, they're getting cooked. Yeah, they're getting cooked.
They're going to basically dedicate themselves to the socialist foreigner platform, and it's going to make them like a recent super chat was asking Cherokee Beer for 2. I wonder if it'll damage them in the suburbs. Absolutely. It'll start hurting them in the suburbs later. It won't hurt them as much as it's going to start hurting them.
Lose. The working class isn't going to like it. The Hispanics aren't going to like it, and the suburbs aren't going to like it. Wins with no one. They need a combination of all three of those groups to win, and so they're not getting any of them.
The first group we see moving right is the working class in the outer ring of cities. You know, the donut hole effect that we've been seeing. The donut effect is showing that the working class laborers in the in the outer ring of a city are being hit the most, and they're glowing red, while the core of the city, the people that live there, are staying dark blue. But you're going to start seeing the suburbs bleed if we continue seeing foreign candidates. I think
the urban areas are getting redder, though. That is something you saw big in November. Is you saw a lot of urban swings, especially in places like Chicago. You saw a lot of these areas. Like you look at the west side of Chicago, like 30 points right on average swings. But yeah.
Yeah, go on. Absolutely. Anyways, so Sexy Princess Rider for $10. Final message on this somber anniversary. Here are some RNC internals. Texas Senate, Paxton at 49, Cornyn at 28. For Louisiana, we have Senator Jen R, 51%, Cassidy at 20. South Carolina, Graham is at 54%, Jen R 34%, NC. So okay, generic Republican ballot. That must be the abbreviation. Yep, general Republican ballots at 51%, Cassidy's at 20%, so that's looking good. South Carolina, Graham's at 54%, general ballots at 34%, oof. North Carolina Senate, Laura at 51%, Robinson at 21%.
Not good.
Robinson?
Bro,
why do we have the worst bench in the... Come on, bro.
What was that? I'm sorry. I took my headphones off like 3 seconds.
Is Laura, in the North Carolina Senate, is Laura referring to Laura Trump, or is there some other Laura that I'm not aware of?
That's Laura Trump.
No, I'm referring to Trump.
I was asking because she spelt it with a
poll.
U, and I know Laura Trump's name doesn't have a U in it. I don't know why I know that, but I know that.
They're internals, Real Texan. There is no. These aren't publicly available.
Well, if you're to trust these internals, it looks like in spite of the divorce news, Paxton's still doing really well. You know,
when did these
in
come
the
out?
primary, not the general.
What is that poll dated at?
The general, that would be a...
Yeah, when was this poll taken?
No date for this. She just gave us this, and I think she skedaddled as soon as she gave us this. But I was these are internals from someone that works in the GOP. So yeah,
the news came out on the 10th, so I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We'll have to see more, but right now, so far, internals are still looking good for Paxton. We'll have to keep monitoring the situation.
Hunt likely getting in is going to also have an effect when Wesley
Yes,
Hunt
Wesley
gets
Hunt,
in.
he put out some ad buys in the Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio areas, so it's looking like he is preparing for a Senate run, possibly as like a Paxton alternative, because of the divorce.
Right.
And
well,
no,
again,
he's not a safety valve or whatever, because Texas is a runoff, so you can't say he's trying to split it and reelect Cornyn.
Runoffs. I mean,
normal.
it'll probably. I mean, we'll see what happens.
K-Cub for 5. John.
I mean, I've heard rumors of like maybe Cornyn retiring and like maybe getting behind Hunt, which probably would hurt Hunt a little bit, but at the end of the day, I mean, Hunt wouldn't be a bad senator, so.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, we will wait and we will see. K-Cup for 5. John Rose, quote, "It's unprecedented to reverse a president's executive order. Liberal judges. Oh, I beg to differ there, Mr. Maca, e-girl intellectual. Thank you for correctly showing that I'm an e-girl."
Other news out of Texas. Steve Toth has officially launched his campaign in Texas' 2nd Congressional District. There will be an announcement ceremony tomorrow in the Woodlands, but he has launched his campaign. There is a website. There is an issues page. You can donate to him if you want. He did file a run, I believe, Thursday or Friday. I think it was Friday that he filed a run. So that is big news, although we will see how redistricting will affect it. So let's keep an eye on it.
Okay, so Texas Representative Steve Toth is running for the U.S. House, and he's going to be running against Crenshaw?
Yes, Crenshaw.
All righty, awesome. I did believe... I thought that District 2 was Crenshaw. I was just asking to make sure. But yeah, no, so we have the Texas House representative running for the U.S. House, which I think that will be pretty cool. Hoping to see more from that campaign. Let's see here.
Steve Toth, if you're unfamiliar, he is a state representative. He represents House District 15, which is in the Woodlands. I think it's both the Woodlands and Conroe. He technically lives in Conroe, which is in the 8th district, but
it's okay.
The Woodlands Conroe and the Woodlands are like 10 minutes apart. The Woodlands is in the second, and the Woodlands is in the 2nd congressional district.
It's like in the Florida. It's like in the Florida special election. We had a District 2 guy run for District 1. It's pretty much the same thing. American Nerd for 2. Donald's leads in a GOP primary for governor polls. I did see that. I don't know if I had it up in my tabs, but absolutely. It looks like Donald's in a head-to-head against Casey DeSantis is like beating her by like 20 plus points. It seems sorry for anybody that wanted the shadow DeSantis session in the governorship. Doesn't seem like it's floating. I haven't
seen any signs of Casey running now, so I don't even know if she lost interest or.
I don't know. We still have time. There's more time for Florida governorship. But Sexy Princess Writer for 2, she did pop up to say Trump and NC. So yeah, Laura equals Laura Trump in North Carolina. And the poll was done right before the divorce news hit, July 6th through July 9th.
Okay,
so,
that's gonna. Okay, so I would say that renders the poll basically useless for Texas.
We'll see. But yeah, I am very happy to see Laura Trump running at 51% inside of polls. We definitely should get her to run now. Very happy about that.
I don't think she would be a very good candidate. I think, especially if Roy Cooper runs, we should definitely run someone better. If it was a safe red state, it'd be one thing, but I think in a competitive seat like this, especially with Dems likely getting someone like Roy Cooper, I think we should look for a much better candidate.
Laura Trump will win North Carolina. But going on, we have some ICE fake news going on here. Fake news. Any claim that there is a lack of food or subprime conditions at ICE detention centers are false. All detainees are provided with proper meals, blah, blah, blah. Reason I brought this up was to show DHS going up against NBC News. They're putting out an article saying immigrants in overcapacity ICE detention say they're hungry, raise food quality concerns. And this was more of what I told you guys last stream before we broke for the weekend. They're going to try every tactic under the sun to get you to stop these raids. And why do they want you to stop the ICE raids? Because we're going to uncover more and more crime, more filth, more depravity, the more that we go into these raids. We got 2 marijuana farms in California, and the second one got more children. So the number of children that we have saved from these farms has gone up from 10 to 14. And many of these
strawberry farms,
most of them are unaccompanied minors with, no real check on their wage. And, I was having this conversation. I said effectively they have no wage. If they are getting any wage, it's going to pay the human trafficker that brought them into the country. So they're effectively working not just on behalf of the person bringing you your weed, Mr. Californian, but on behalf of the human trafficker. You are funding human trafficking by continuing to allow these companies to exist. And I'm sorry, but this illegal activity is not just happening on the weed farms. It's happening on those strawberry farms. It's happening in the meat packing facilities. It's happening everywhere else that American citizens are supposed to be working in the first place. So get over it.
Detain the immigrants, and Americans aren't going to have their meats.
Yeah, I would like to remind people that people have run the numbers on this. The worst case scenario is, let's say we get rid of all the illegal aliens and we start paying, American citizens and legal immigrants a livable working wage. You know how much everything goes up by? About 15% at most. And that's only for like a 3 or 4 year period, while farms move over to machining and absorbing losses and figuring out how to adjust. No. Because I don't know how to tell you this. Most farms, most corporations don't raise their prices 15%. They normally like to eat the cost and then ease into it. So, the worst case scenario, everything.
If you want your $15 minimum wage, and which I think he supports more than that now, but $15 minimum wage, deport the illegal immigrants.
Yeah, all of these.
Bernie Sanders did used to be against mass slave labor, and then he ran for the Democrat primary, and then just became like a generic, progressive Democrat.
All of these beliefs are in cognitive dissonance with one another and are incoherent, and the primary reason for that is because these people don't believe anything. I'm going to say it over and over again. They don't believe in anything. They're just yelling at you. They're trying to promote a religion that they've built up across all of these different fields. But none of these people actually believe in anything. They're waving signs, they're yelling, they're screaming, they're crying. They don't believe in anything. Chance for 10. Harry Sisson says Newsom would beat Vance by Obama 08 Martians. Despite
what's Gavin Newsom's appeal again?
Should we talk about Vance's trip to Disneyland?
Oh yeah, Gavin Newsom. I can pull that up real quick. But hold on, let me read the rest of the super chat. Despite many states that went blue in 08 are solid R now, Vance is 1,000 times better than McCain, and many demos have moved right. What a clown. That's true. We had a really bad candidate in 08. They had a really good candidate in 08. And thinking that Newsom is Obama and Vance is McCain is a little bit insane. But let me pull up that Vance tweet that Texans referencing real quick. So Gavin Newsom had a very emotional, woman moment, had a woman reaction to JD. He was trying to get one off on him. Let me pull it up for you guys. Gavin Newsom, hope you enjoy your family time at JD Vance. The families you're tearing apart certainly won't. By the way, this is like the thought that goes through his mind as he's watching JD Vance try to have just a good time at Disneyland with his very young children, with his like 3-year-old, with his 8-year-old. So, his 3-year-old and 8-year-old and his 5-year-old, they're not allowed to have normal lives and go to Disneyland in the summer. They have to be always guilty about what their father's doing. Anyways, enjoy your family time. The families you're tearing apart certainly won't. And then he gets ratioed by JD Vance saying, had a great time. Thanks.
I think Newsom's like press Twitter account said something about like how Disneyland wouldn't function without immigrants or something.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because, Disneyland opened back in 1955 and has been around for 70 years now. Anaheim, I mean, do you think Disneyland survived in the 60s?
Right.
When it was probably, pre-Hart-Celler.
Yeah, this was Stephen Miller reacting to that post as well. Governor Newsom press office, 35% of Anaheim's residents are immigrants. Disneyland doesn't run without them. Enjoy their labor at JD Vance. And then Stephen Miller requires, according to the governor of California, no theme park has ever successfully operated in any time, city or place, without mass migration. This used to be a valid talking point on the left, and the longer that it's gone on, the more ridiculous it seems to everyone involved. I think that's what you're saying.
Disneyland existed for 10 years before the Hart-Celler Act.
Yeah. Well, it's the same argument over and over again. Like, I remember it was one of my favorite parts of the New York Times interviewing JD while they were on the campaign trail. Like, they were talking about, but what are we going to do about housing if the migrants go away? Which everybody on the right wing goes, wait, if we deport people, there are automatically more houses available. But for, a leftist, they don't think about that. They're just like, what about all the construction workers? And JD Vance goes, and JD Vance, his first reaction is sarcastically, yeah, and as we all know, there was not a single house built in the United States prior to mass immigration. Yeah, no. So, no, and if we...
if you see like the traffic in Los Angeles now since the raids, obviously it's still very bad, but...
Well, traffic's cleared up, and now there's a 33% cancellation of appointments at the emergency room at major hospitals in Los Angeles. So the amount of people, the capacity, if you know how long you have to wait to do appointments at the LA hospital, you don't just walk in and get served. That is not how it works over there. But yeah, no, they've had a 30% decline in appointment scheduling, and they've had the streets cleared off. You were actually able to function in Los Angeles. You were able to actually get places, and you were able to go to the emergency room. And just with the fear of being deported, you can now actually use the public utilities meant for you in Los Angeles. It's amazing. But yeah.
Okay, guys, we have some big news as of 20 minutes ago. Morning consults, which used to be a joke, but it has been getting steadily better since they lost their partnership with Bloomberg. Take a look at this. Trump's approval rating is up 2 points from last week, and his handling of the economy is now tied. It was down 3 just a couple days ago. So this is pretty big.
But YouGov, on the other hand, is 39.
YouGov is taking the piss, whatever you want to call it. But no, when we're looking at this, Morning Consult, approval 47, disapprove 50, which actually, like I said, if you adjust the YouGov poll, 14 points, according to their it
comes out around -3 to 5, yeah, which is about average.
Yeah, according to the accuracy from the election.
I think Trump is legitimately underwater, but at the same time, it's not by a lot.
Well, yeah, no,
Dude,
-3 is very believable.
Though.
You look at the crosstabs.
Oh yeah, the YouGov crosstabs.
Dude, those crosstabs have him like, no, I think the Morning Compost ones were actually pretty weird. He has like a 30% approval rating with black people, but he's only up 7 with whites.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm not going to get into that right now,
I
but
think
yeah, I see what you're talking
I think
about.
YouGov had like Trump tied in New
Cross,
England,
but
and
you
then
guys got to
down by like
remember
30 of the South.
crosstabs always suck. Atlas Intel, who was the most accurate pollster last year, continuously had like horrible crosstabs. They're never accurate. Just completely ignore them. Exit polls are usually accurate. But ignore polling crosstabs though. Like if you only take the final demographic like exit poll, that's how you get it. Don't look at polling; it sucks. Just
Right.
look at the
Yeah.
top line because the issues kind of auto-correct for themselves overall. So
Right.
you got to realize
So
you're polling 1,000 people to get this. You know, you're probably only polling like 30 or so black people. So you know, you're not going to get an accurate representation of that group. You know, but yeah.
That's true.
okay. So I had a couple more things with immigration. I wanted to bring up the fake news story, and then I wanted to bring up this meme. Wow, I can't believe DHS is breaking up these illegal child slavery drug farms on America's soil. This is just like Nazi Germany. It's just like Nazi Germany, guys.
So true.
Yeah, no. But I also wanted to bring up this other ICE story. They caught a particular individual, a very particular individual. And I'll put this in the chat for you guys too. Yeah, right there. ICE agents capture an illegal immigrant man pretending to be a woman. And
When,
apparently,
like, baby clothes? Yeah.
Yeah, wearing baby clothes and pigtails. They felt bad for him, pretending to be a woman to try and avoid capture. So they got him a cheeseburger.
They gave him a cheeseburger. I remember that.
Looks like
It's
from
awesome, dude.
Whataburger or In-N-Out or something. Yeah, but that's pretty bad.
Do they
That
have
is pretty
Whataburger up
bad.
there? Or down there? Or
In
over there?
California? Not in California, no.
Yeah, no, that's why I said In-N-Out, because like they have In-N-Out over there, right?
Yeah, I think In-N-Out is a California thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I only said that because like the size of it, you know, like McDonald's cheeseburgers are way smaller, so I was like, that's a honking big one. That's got to be like
apparently Corey Mills is being evicted or for something.
Corey Mills is being evicted. Let's take a look at this.
Oh yeah, we also have a new generic ballot poll out from Echelon Insights. Republicans +1 in the generic ballot, but with Elon Musk's America Party, it's apparently Democrats +4, the America Party at 5%. But again, it seems like that's kind of dead. I don't think they're even like set to run candidates. So
they're running candidates in like 10 seats, I think. It's not even going to be like a full thing.
Yeah, so this is assuming that like there's going to be a candidate in every state. And we know this too, that like third parties almost always underperform polling. So yeah.
Yep. So real quick, reading what Texan brought up, Representative Corey Mills is being evicted for failure to pay months of rent at his DC penthouse. Owners claim Mills owes $85,000. He was served with notice for failure to pay in January. Ledger shows he paid late nearly every month since moving in, missing several months entirely. So that's Representative Corey Mills. Of course, you guys know these guys get a regular salary. If they're not budgeting properly, should they really be running our government? Interesting question.
Also, apparently, Andrew Cuomo got horrifically ratioed on his announcement tweet.
Oh no, Cuomo did?
Yes, by Zohran.
Well,
oh no.
Well, obviously, he's got the he's got like the Twitter following.
Oh yeah,
Mamdani.
I'm surprised Mamdani doesn't have more followers. He only has like 500,000.
Well, because Cuomo previously served as a 2-term governor for like a decade. So yeah, it's obvious that this upstart mayor candidate has less followers than a former well-established politician.
Got a couple super chats.
Also,
K-Cup for
we need
2.
to talk about Doug Mastriano as well.
Pull it up if we need to. K-Cup for 2. I've ignored every poll since Harris +3 in Iowa. Yeah, that Seltzer poll really did a number on people's trust in polling. American Nerd for 2. Elon's NASA guy might run for Congress in Pennsylvania. That is related to something Luke just brought up, so I'll pull up Luke's post here real quick. It's from Interactive Polls, 2026 generic congressional ballot. Has us at R+1 right now, which I consider to be good news. I think we should try. I hope we can get it further up, but R+1, not bad. Including Musk's
I'd like
America
to say
Party.
too,
Yeah.
For the past like 10 to 15 years, the generic ballot polls have underestimated Republicans every time, with the exception of 2018 when they overestimated us by 0.1. Like
that is
the
an
average.
excellent point.
So,
yeah, no, that is very
thing.
true. Very, very true.
Including in 2022, by the way, which was kind of the year we underperformed. We still were underestimated in the generic ballot. So.
Yep. Including Musk, quote, the America Party, Democrats 45, Republicans 41, America 5%. That kind of goes hand in hand with what CNN said, that only a maximum of 4% of the American public could be convinced to vote for something like the America Party. If that's how poorly that they're polling, you can be guaranteed they're either just going to be a spoiler for Republicans or they're not going to get on the board at all. We'll have to see. We have a whole year for the America Party to crash and burn, so we'll keep watching that. I have some. Did you pull it up? Okay, Texan. Let me pull up what Texan was discussing just a little bit earlier. Oh, wait, no.
I mean, that's probably
different.
Just like Mastriano trolling, but because people always freak out whenever he says something. But
yeah. I thought you were going to pull up the thing of the ratio thing, but that is also interesting. I have some Maha news, guys. Let me pull it up. From Calvin Coolidge Project, report a coalition of 40 ice cream producers, which are responsible for over 90% of ice cream sales, have pledged to voluntarily remove artificial dyes, including red number 3, red 40, green 3, blah, 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 by the end of 2027. So more Maha wins, more Maha success. This was from early at the end of last week. RFK bans illegal immigrants from government-funded programs. I'm so glad that he's been able to take these silent W's. We might have covered this Friday, but I just wanted to bring it up again. It is awesome. RFK is doing great work behind the scenes, and it doesn't usually get mentioned because it doesn't fall into the news cycle. But he's keeping his head down, and he's making sure that we do actually accomplish the agenda he showed up at Washington to do. Mm-hmm. So very proud of RFK.
Also, according to the brand new Harvard poll, he is the most popular member of the Trump administration with a 50% favorable rating to 45% disapprove. So
yeah, so he's like
popular member of the
he's a couple points above Trump himself. And I also, from that same poll, I noticed Trump's up, everybody's up. JD Vance is like 7 points more popular than Gavin Newsom, which I think is pretty fun. So yeah, no, the whole
just have like an insane beef. It's not even like Newsom and Trump. It just seems like he doesn't like Vance. I don't know what happened to him.
He doesn't like Vance because I don't know. I mean, well, because Newsom, I think it's literally just because Newsom knows he's running for president. He had the same beef with DeSantis when DeSantis was thought to be the nominee, or was thought to be like a sincere contender. But that was because they were both big state governors. That was like the excuse back then. And now it's pretty clear. He just has major beef with anyone he thinks he's going to have to run against for president.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's a smart, calculating guy, and it might work in his favor to pretend even to have beef with JD. Here is Zohran. Let's see, Andrew Cuomo in it to win it. He gets 600 likes. Or no, it's up to 1,000 now. But Zohran gets 36,000. Oh gosh, I would pray to God and hope that was botted. I would hope the likes were botted. But I kind of know how this goes. Even there are a bajillion communists still on Twitter in spite of Blue Sky existing. It's pretty sad. So yeah, no, this does make you lose confidence. But you got to remember, Twitter's not real life. I think that is one of the most important lessons.
You do notice a little bit some of these liberal accounts will put their like name as their Blue Sky, yet still obsessively use Twitter. So I'll basically be like, to see more of me, go to the Blue Sky right here. But then they're on Twitter like 30 times more than they're on Blue Sky.
You wanna see something really weird? Actually, this might actually be botted. You know why? Because I'm looking at the views here. The views are 312,500 views. versus 36,000 likes. Now, if you guys know how impressions work on Twitter and you know the general ratio of impressions to interaction, you guys know that 1 in 10 people liking the tweet, that is a crazy throughput on someone else's post. So like when you're posting on your own, that's not that weird. But when you're posting in reply to someone else, that is actually a pretty crazy ratio he has. It's actually less than 1 to 10. It's like closer to 1 to 9, actually. So 1 in 9 people that saw Zohran's reply liked Zohran's reply to Andrew Cuomo. Yeah, that might actually be botted. And if he's botting it, I guess that just means he's playing smart. I don't know. Hats off to Zohran. A lot of his
news is also like terminally online, so
that could be it. It could be terminally online, but I didn't think it was until I saw that ratio. I saw the ratio and I was like, wait a second, this might actually be botted.
Yeah, a lot of news today as well. Apparently, so Trump will be meeting with the king in September for a state visit to the UK. What else is there?
I'm sure it'll be pleasant. You know, we know Trump loves Britain. Trump loves Britain, even if Parliament refuses to see him. They refused to see Trump. He was trying to go and speak to Parliament. They refused to let him in. But we know that he loves those guys, even if they don't. A couple of super chats. Chance for 5. Vance up by 7 over Newsom. That's the exact margin Obama won by in 08. In your face, Harry. Lol. I'm pretty much there with you, Chance. Like on the thinking about the margins between Newsom and Vance. I really do think that they've got at least the perception backwards, even if we didn't reach the same ratio. American Nerd for 2, SCOTUS has allowed Trump to dismantle the Department of Education. Bravo, bravo. Very happy. Let's see. Wasn't Trump's mom from Britain? Trump's mom was from Scotland. He's Scottish.
Yes. From the very northern tip of Scotland.
Yep. All right. So you can grab a couple more news pieces, but I'm going to keep going over. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 or 6 topics to go before we close the stream. California gas. I brought up this post from America First Insight because Governor Newsom's press office was making more hullabaloo. The president continues to lie about gas prices in California. Will a staffer please update his memory card? And they're talking about how expensive their gas is. And then you bring up this chart that shows it. Thank you for confirming that Trump drill baby drill policy is lowering gas prices. However, gas prices in California remain the highest by a significant margin due to poor governance and extra taxes. I heard other people talking about their energy policy in California and their over-reliance on stuff like foreign oil does cause their volatility in gas prices to be a lot larger than the rest of the country. But yeah, you guys can see the chart for yourselves right here. It's this chart's pretty accurate for me right now in Florida. Around $3. I'm in a tourist town though, so that's also part of the problem. But yeah, it's like $3 in Florida in April, $2.69 in Mississippi, $2.76 in Louisiana, $2.77 in Texas. You look at California though, almost $5 and it's the only state, not even the other blue states. You look at New York, it's $3.12. You look at all these other mid-Atlantic states, it's pretty bad. And then you look at the only other ones that compete with California are like Washington and Oregon. And all of this would be fixed. There's a really easy fix to California's gas problem. And I'm sure you guys know what it is, or at least Texan does. You make a pipeline from Texas to California. They would instantly lower the gas prices. But the people in California are rejecting that idea.
And Newsom wouldn't get to have his stupid political points, bro. That
just deport illegal immigrants.
You could deport illegals and gas would go down, but you could also
unironically, people like to say, "Oh my God, you blame everything on immigrants," but I'm sorry, if you remove 12 million illegal aliens from this country, you would in fact see pretty much every aspect of life improve. Housing prices go down, traffic goes down, hospital wait times go down. School
look at Los Angeles now with all the migrants off the road. There's these videos of it looks like Milwaukee level traffic in Los Angeles, which is fucking unheard of.
Yeah. I just want to bring up those are all valid points, and I love us always talking about immigration deportations. It's the number one issue. I do just want to say there have been plans to try and pump gas from Texas to California, and they've been rejected by California's Congress. It's really bad, guys. It's really bad. They could instantly solve their problems.
Echo on Insights has a Democrat primary poll.
Oh my. Let's take a look here.
Yeah, so it's Harris still at the front. Harris is still at the top, 26%. Buttigieg is right below at 11. Newsom at 10. In fact, he's at the biggest rise in polling. Booker at 7, AOC at 6, Shapiro at 4, and then the rest.
It does convince me. I mean, this is only 505 voters, but these kinds of numbers do convince me they probably won't run Harris again. Harris might just tell them, I don't want to run again. That was too much work. I don't want to do more work. So Harris could potentially say that and they not run Harris at all. I am convinced, like, between people like Buttigieg and Newsom, they absolutely would run Newsom before they ran someone like Buttigieg. I do not see Buttigieg on the top of the ticket.
South Carolina meeting with Clyburn, so he's going to run 100%.
Could he, but like, who do they choose?
Sure, but I think with the recent ICE raids and him, trying to take a stand against them, he could be seen as like the new martyr.
He is the face of the opposition. He's making himself into it, and it's easy because we have to do a lot of work in his state to prevent them from having an unfair advantage. Look, guys, if we deport only the migrants from red states and we continue measuring population, including illegals, if that ends up being allowed or happening, then the blue states are actually going to get way more representation. They're going to get even more overrepresented than they are right now if we only deported from red states.
Also leads me to believe Newsom could probably choose like a Hispanic woman as his running mate.
Oh no, Karen Bass, Gavin Newsom, double ticket. Oh, no, I'm kidding.
Woman, not a black woman, and it would be from California. I mean, maybe AFC. I don't know.
Oh yeah, they can't be from the same state. I forgot. Yeah,
I mean, they could. All you have to do is just the VP just has to move her house to Nevada, just like rent like a property for like $200 a month in like the middle of nowhere.
All these minorities look the same to me. Charlie Howard for 5 opinion on all this of all on stream. He wants everybody's opinion. Can Vance beat Newsom in 2028?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, like, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. Maybe I am just wish casting, but I sincerely do think that Vance is favored against most people. I think he's...
I want to see polling results. If it's AOC versus Vance, I want to see polling results, but everybody else, yeah. I'm pretty much agreeing with EA.
The only person that I think is favored against Trump is Shapiro, just because he has the whole like moderate shtick. Problem is, he's a white Jewish guy in a Democrat primary who is not.
There's
very
another problem with him too.
4%.
He did help cover up a murder, and that is a scandal. And
he did cover up a murder as attorney general.
That is the reason it sounds like that Harris didn't pick him for VP was that scandal, and they knew that it had a shot at getting released. So Dems don't really have a strong candidate who's like...
There's Wes Moore, but Wes Moore's already said he's not running. So. Yeah, he's also said he's not running. He's already confirmed he's not running in 2028. Maybe later, but not right now.
Yeah, I mean, the strongest candidate on this list is probably Mark Cuban at 3%.
Oh, gosh. Yeah,
he's going to be the America Party candidate, bro. He already said he's...
yeah. Mark Cuban's going to be America Party. Yeah, no.
But what, is someone going to get Cuban Yane or something, or Cuban Massey?
Okay,
Cuban Yay. That would be a ticket.
So true.
Okay, a couple more super chats. And finishing Charlie's. My money says yes, though Newsom would be harder to beat than other Dems, but Vance wins. Yeah, I think we all think Vance wins. Chance for 2. Bashir is the Massey of Democrats. Only online support. Andy Bashir, yeah, no, that sounds about right. Keiko for 2.
online. Bashir 2028 or Jon Stewart 2028. It's a pretty tough one.
I would love to see John Leibowitz on the main stage. I think that would be beautiful. K-Cup for 2. Newsom, Mamdani 28. How many states can we lose? If Newsom Mamdani's the presidential ticket, you say. If Mamdani runs as vice president, I think
Mamdani can't because he's born in Uganda to immigrants. So
yeah,
no, he's not able to.
Yeah. That's the main problem with that idea, K-Cup.
You can bet though that if AOC somehow became president, she would try to get rid of that requirement so that Mamdani could run.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we have all of that. California gas. Oh yeah. We had a New York article picture. Not sure if you guys saw this mag cover, but I'll post it for you guys. New York with a beaver strangling a bald eagle. You have no idea how furious the Canadians are.
Oh
you
no,
guys?
the Canadians are pissed. Let's
not the Reddit country.
The Reddit country is upset at us, guys. Anyways, just wanted everybody to see this New York article because it looks so ridiculous. All right, another quick story. Brianna Moore, a University of Tampa student who was arrested last year for allegedly suffocating her newborn baby in a dorm room bathroom, threw in the trash, has new released records. These newly released records of her activity show Brianna Moore sent text messages saying that her preferred method of birth control was, quote, Plan C, which is a post-birth abortion, killing the baby. Moore is facing up to 30 years in prison if convicted of manslaughter charges, although I would say that text is proof enough that there shouldn't be manslaughter charges. That is murder.
They're not wanting to overcharge her and risk it getting thrown out.
Yeah.
They're gonna give her the 30 years maximum.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just disgusting, dude. And yeah, no, a lot of abortionists see abortion this way, and it's becoming more and more. It's less like apologetic and less guilt ridden. Like, oh, I had to do it because of my socioeconomic circumstances. I had to kill my child. Now it's, oh yeah, no, actually, I killed my child and I like it. That's slowly becoming the new turn. We had at TPUSA this weekend a lot of speakers, but I just wanted to highlight Tulsi's comments. Tulsi Gabbard. She had a few things to say. Tulsi Gabbard says there is a war with the deep state going on, says the base on X are asking, quote, why aren't things going faster? This is her response. I can attest personally, in my work as director of national intelligence, the deep state is fighting us every step of the way. You think the campaign was hard? You think what President Trump went through was hard? It was, but the road ahead will not be easy. And it exists within every single federal agency. And so I feel the same frustration I see many of you on X expressing or in different platforms about why aren't things going faster? Why aren't we getting results more quickly? I feel this frustration every single day. We are pushing hard. We know they are pushing hard back. So I just wanted to get that really is an update from inside of the administration telling us, hey guys, we know you're frustrated. We know you see it's going slow. We wish we could do it better. We really do, but we are being fought every single step of the way. You do not reform these kinds of, 80-year-old institutions overnight. Unfortunately, they just don't get they don't get renewed like that.
France is about to become a plurality Muslim country.
Yeah, that is really sad. And I have some European Muslim news. This was my last bit before the July 13th spiel. And real quick, K-Cup for 5. Canadians have no idea how angry the Midwest is at the wildfires they refuse to put out are ruining our air quality. But yeah, be mad at us, Canada. That is something to take up with a foreign state, just like with the Mexicans letting the sewage pile over the border. That's the same thing.
Yes. Apparently, as of 2021 in France, so the majority of the population is irreligious. 38% is Christian and 10% is Islam.
That's pretty rough.
If this happens right here with what I just sent, that Islamic number is probably going to surpass Christianity. And France will probably officially become an Islamic country.
Yep. So we did get the news that a court rules that all Palestinians in Gaza are eligible for asylum in France. And we're pretty sure that the legal logic behind this was that France used to have control over these regions in the Middle East. We know they have control over French Syria, and that kind of bleeds into
Lebanon for a while.
And they controlled Lebanon for a while. So even if this is under the British portion, because they participated in the carving up of the Middle East, they're now going to allow these people to be eligible for asylum, theoretically, because they helped cause the problem. That this is terrible logic. And no matter how true or false it is.
That's why you have all the immigrants going into Europe. Western Europe is because they were carving up Africa. So it's basically their apology for carving up Africa.
The apology for whatever wrongs were done in the past is not to stop being a country, which this is effectively what they're saying. They are erasing their own nationhood for the sake of feeling bad about past crimes. It's really bad. No, I don't agree with this at all.
Didn't one of the countries in I guess former Yugoslavia just recently become plurality Christian instead of plurality Muslim?
Albania.
Okay, yeah, Albania. So yeah, you're gonna see the reversion in France.
Yeah. I do have some good news, although on the flip side of this issue, which is coming from Barcelona. A mosque in Barcelona.
Whoa, breaking news. I think we actually have other breaking news here.
Yeah, I have that up in my. If you're talking about Bongino, I have that up. But I just want to bring up real quick.
It's not that, actually.
Okay. A mosque in Barcelona is being burnt down in response to the Muslim attacks on native Spaniards. The Spanish aren't messing around, so you are seeing resistance to this in Spain. Hope that we see more of that in France and the UK. What was the breaking news?
Let's see. It's from Patrick Webb here.
Alrighty. The Trump administration will be releasing more evidence related to the Jeffrey Epstein case and offer greater transparency, according to Laura Trump. And we're all happy to hear this. All very happy, but I'm just going to go ahead and
someone must have stalled some poll numbers.
I'm going to prime you guys. Mark Mitchell and Richard Barris were firing off the red lights about the issue as far as polling goes. I don't necessarily believe that narrative that they were pushing, but if it's enough to convince them to do something about it, here we are. And I'm just going to let you guys know ahead of time. I do not think what they release will satisfy you. And I want you to come to terms with that now instead of when it gets released, because again, phase 1 really did not satisfy anybody. Whatever they release is kind of a pittance or a consolation prize. It might make people angrier. It might make you angrier. I'm just telling you guys to be ready to be disappointed. That's my take on this news. I'm happy if it makes you guys happy. If you're happy with whatever they release, I will be happy for you guys. I'm in the very much not caring camp right now in regards to this issue, in regards to this story, not in regards to the abuse, not in regards to the horrible things under the story, but the actual story itself. I'm very much over. It's being abused for political purposes. I don't want to keep pursuing it. And that's part of why I think if Maxwell testifies, it'll be used against the administration. But
I hate to interrupt you, but the son of Bill Gates has just donated to Massey's campaign.
Oh gosh, how much, DC?
It didn't say, but yeah, no,
probably a lot.
Okay, there's actually an Echelon poll.
Hello, Tyrone.
Primary without Harris.
Everybody in chat, say hello to Tyrone while we get.
I just got back to school and I have like 20 minutes until I have to fucking form up for end of day briefing. But yeah, what's good?
Yeah, anyways, the Democrat primary without Harris for Echelon Insights, Newsom and Buttigieg are tied.
Damn, bro just fucking didn't even let me say anything.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Motherfucker, what have I missed? What's the quick rundown?
We've gone over a dozen different stories. We talked a bit about Zohran bleeding into Minneapolis. There's now a Somali that's running on a Zohran platform in Minneapolis for mayor. We talked about the surplus from tariffs. We talked about people trying to sabotage the ICE raids with fake news. A lot of other stuff. But how you doing, man?
I spent another day running around the Georgia woodlands.
Yeah.
I have a headache. What's up with what's up with the Epstein shit? I heard
we just got news. Well, there's a couple pieces of news. First of all, the Trump administration is going to release more information, and and my take on it the second it came out was be prepared to be disappointed. I want everybody to be prepared to be disappointed. We also have another piece of news related to Epstein. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino came to work at the Bureau per CNN. So there was a lot of rumors that Dan Bongino was going to leave, that he was considering leaving over the weekend. And then they tried to say that Kash Patel was also considering leaving. That turned out to be false, turned out to be complete fake news. And Kash Patel rejected it himself. He'd be happy to work at the behest of the president as long as he's allowed to. But there were legitimate concerns that Dan Bongino would leave. Seems like he's staying. And I don't really blame Bongino. His entire media reputation was based around releasing information regarding Epstein. That was the center of all of his talk shows. So I understand if he would leave, but it seems like he's sticking around. So good news for everyone, I think. I think we're all better off with him there.
Yeah. And we were also talking about the incoming demographic changes to France.
Right.
Which would pretty much make Islam the plurality religion in France. A complete reversal of what has recently happened in Albania.
Man, Charles Martel is rolling in his grave. The French slaughtered the incoming Muslim forces at the Battle of fucking Tours, but now we have the fucking Muslims just coming in and just completely replacing them.
Because the French courts ruled that all Palestinians in Gaza are eligible for asylum in France.
Yeah, I was just telling everybody. This was in a different conversation, different voice chat, but I was telling everybody about Paris. I don't know who's going to do it. It might be the Muslims, it might be the right wingers, it might be the communists, it might be religious people, it might be secular people. I don't know. Someone is burning down Paris soon. I don't know who, but Paris is going to be burned down by some group of people.
Well, first we need to figure out who is in Paris. I think EA has an idea of who is in Paris. Would you like to enlighten us?
I can't say that word. Rap would probably kill me.
Yeah. He's gonna kill us either way, even for joking about it.
You got it, boss.
Yep. Oh, but I did get that open source.
Did you just
link.
laugh at me? Do you think am I funny? Do I amuse you?
Yep. But as we see, here's the report. Rory Gates, son of Bill Gates, donates to Thomas Massey's campaign as he faces Trump-backed primary threat. We're going to see more people pile in. It's probably going to be one of the most expensive House races in next year. Uh-oh, guys. Stop. Dude, you guys are misbehaving. Don't make me put you in timeout, dude. Oh, man. Daniel.
Are we getting towers in the chat?
Oh, as they say in France, Allah Akbar.
All right. I'm I hid the user, so I'm hoping that it handles the situation.
Is it Daniel? I think it is.
I don't know if it's a Daniel. It's a Daniel. Looks like he's from Ireland. Do you know Daniel from Ireland?
Oh, I see. Get bullet. So is this individual support mass immigration because he was bullied by his Irish classmates?
Oh, it's that guy. Yeah. Okay. John gonna give us in-school suspension like high school. Yeah, I'm wagging my finger. I'm like the teacher with the really big ruler that you remember because you still have like the sign on your butt from it slapping you. Like I'm that teacher right now. I'm wagging my finger.
Reminds me of a girl in Britain that was sent home on Cultural Diversity Day for wearing a dress that had the Union Jack on it.
Really makes you think.
In Britain, by the way, in Britain.
Look, man, Caden, I'm being a steward for someone else's channel. Like, if it was my own channel and I didn't have to care, I guess I would I wouldn't care, but it's not even my channel, dude. I gotta moderate it like normal. Oh gosh, yeah, no.
Reddit. Oh, did you guys see that the Department of Defense is using?
My channel has free speech.
The Department of Defense.
You want free speech? Go to my channel. Okay,
Shut
go
the
on.
fuck up, Luke.
You talk
Anyway.
about the DOD.
Speak.
Yeah, the DoD is gonna start using Grok. Will Stantle is fucked.
Yeah,
Literally.
we talked about that earlier. I have it right up on screen for everybody. Yeah, they're getting a $200 million contract. Grok's going to be used by the DoD. That's interesting. I actually just scrolling down a little bit on this tweet, we see some interesting images that I won't comment on. But you guys saw it. I let this chat see it. I let the stream see it. Yeah, but I had some other stuff here. What did I have for July 13th? I had a couple things. No. Here we go. Yeah, so I just had Stephen Miller posting, the miracle in Butler occurred 1 year ago today, which was yesterday. God saved our president so he could save our country. Now, more than ever, 250 years after divine providence first blessed this nation, we must stand strong for America and stand strong with President Trump. So we see a lot of good support for Trump coming out. Still an all-timer. Just wanted to bring up this as well. I wanted to remind everyone on this anniversary that the media lies to you. Trump removed from stage by Secret Service after loud noises startle former president crowd. This USA Today lied about it. CNN lied about it. MSNBC lied about it. They lied about it for a maximum 2-3 hours, sometimes days, if depending on what publication. But they lied and lied and lied until they couldn't lie anymore. And then they finally had to admit a radical left lunatic tried to murder our president, the former and sitting president.
Supporter for like a week. Remember that?
Yep. And then they pretended that he's a Trump supporter.
Jasmine Crockett literally said like a week ago it was a Trump supporter that did it.
Yeah. No, but it is very unfortunate. It's a very unfortunate situation that we don't have a press that we can trust. And I think it's like only 8% of Republicans even trust the media anymore, and it's probably all boomers that are saying they do. No, it's
when
just
they're talking
gone.
about media, they're talking about Fox News.
Pretty much, yeah. And and as I've stated before on this show, you really shouldn't even trust Fox News.
Oh no, obviously not. Obviously not.
Right.
Yeah, it's even worse than some of the other networks at sometimes.
No, especially during last month's coverage, during June's coverage, when all of the Middle East stuff was happening, was really asinine, the kinds of things they were saying to Americans. I saw it. I still see it. I have recordings of some of the stuff they said, and it's absolutely 100% gaslighting. But yeah,
the commercials you were talking about them airing about like the mortgages and shit like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, they abuse elders with their commercials. We've talked about it, like some of the medical stuff that they do, some of the prescriptions they provide, reverse mortgages. A lot of the things that they promote to elderly people are to steal their money from them, to make them sicker, or really just to distract them from the most important things. It's really terrible, the kind of hollowing out of boomers that's happened. It's like you wonder why people have so much spite for boomers, and it's like they've been programmed by the glowy box to be kind of reprehensible in terms of behavior. But yeah, no. About the July 13th stuff, I just wanted to remind everybody on the anniversary, close to the anniversary in general, that we have entered a very special timeline. There's so many other things could have happened in this country had July 13th not taken place. We were on the cusp of so many horrible things. And I think July 13th awakened something in a lot of people. And the main thing that I wanted to bring up was associated with that. It was associated with the fact that we were inches away from this country no longer belonging to us, from the entire sovereignty of this nation being thrown away to foreigners. We did not have anybody real serious on the right take seriously the kind of occupation we have had from the left. They didn't take seriously the fact that the left, in fact, is actually just trying to give the country away to other people that don't belong here. We didn't take seriously the nature of the left's revolution. People were still treating the left as if, they're just an opposition political party. They're just, people were sparring against. It's like a boxing match. It's like a friendly sport. No, No, actually, it's actually life or death. It's actually survival. It's people who love you, or people who at least will treat you well because they're paid to treat you well, versus people who are paid to abuse you, to steal your money, to give it to very rich people and heavily subsidized poor foreigners. We were very close to losing everything and this country becoming unrecognizable. In some places, our country is unrecognizable, and there is so much work ahead to be done. But I think on July 13th, we all remembered this is not about, just like with President Trump, where it was life or death for him right on that stage. The movement is life or death for us. So when you hear us and you hear us have a certain take, maybe you're upset about a take of mine on one or two things. You're upset about us wanting to, like even with the Epstein stuff, me saying, oh, it doesn't matter. When I say it doesn't matter, this is the context of me saying it doesn't matter. Like Epstein matters in terms of my morals as a Christian. Epstein matters to everybody in terms of us wanting justice and liberty. But when I think about all of the things that we're fighting for, when I think about the blood that has been shed for me to be here today, not just from President Trump, but from every single one of my ancestors that fought in every single war in this freaking country. And then I think about my children, my grandchildren, and the lives that they have to live. Yeah, there's way more things to care about. There really are. And that when I look at this picture of our president in this peril and him standing courageously in the line of fire, pumping his fist and saying, fight, fight, fight. That is the only thing that I am thinking about. I am thinking about carrying on the work of my ancestors so that my children and grandchildren have a good place to grow up and live. And that's the epitome of the spiel I wanted to do about this. If any of you guys have any comments about the movement, about Trump, about the assassination attempt in Butler, anything else, you guys are happy to do it. But I wanted to do this before we ended the stream. I just wanted to say that. I wanted to say that this is why we talk. This is why we push agendas. This is why we do everything. It's because just like President Trump right then there was fighting, we're fighting every single day for a better future and to preserve what we were given. Do you have any guys, do any of you in particular have any thoughts that you wanted to chime in on the anniversary of this horrible event?
I think you said most of it.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just hyper fixated on like how fucking cute Grok looks with this latest AI model release.
Oh yeah, Grok
was
released. If you pay $40 a month to Grok, and like that's like $300-$400 a year, you can have an anime girl Grok. That's a little bit too rich.
$480 a year.
Oh gosh, $500 a year? Hell no. Hell no.
$500 a year to flirt with Mika Amase.
Yeah, $40 times 12. Yeah, that $480. Yeah, you're right. $500. Oh gosh, no. I don't think Grok was worth it before that. I certainly don't think it is now.
$500 to get the Gork in it.
Yeah, no, there are way cheaper ways to. If you're someone that gorks it, there are way cheaper ways to gork it. I'm just gonna be real.
I'd also like to point out that look at the third AI chat companion.
Oh,
this is the man that's been like Will Smith.
Okay, yeah. Let me see if I can pull this up in browser so that I can show these guys. This is a little bit sad. So yeah, these are the Grok companions, guys. Yeah, I know we were trying to have a very serious conversation about the anniversary of the Trump assassination, but you cannot stop Tyrone from being Tyrone, so we're gonna go with it. Look at this, guys. Oh my gosh. I spent
all day running around in the Georgia heat. By God, I get to discuss how fucking hot Elon Musk can make his AI chatbot.
Oh no.
I'm spiritually Indian, unfortunately.
Yeah, so we have Annie here, who is like the one that Elon Musk himself promoted. We have Bad Rudy, which looks like an evil furry that you can talk to. God, Lord have mercy on our souls. And yeah, coming soon. It looks like a Mecha Mustache Man is making a reappearance. It looks like we could be getting getting the Terminator come back. Anyways, couple more super chats, guys. Love you. Chance for 5. Why'd all the libertarian R's lose it after Trump returned to office? Paul, Massey, etc. They all had problems, but were decent before. Now they've lost it. This is speculation. I actually think they were paid. I think that they broke a deal with Trump opposition, both in the establishment and in the left. I think they broke a deal that they were going to oppose literally everything Trump did. But also, you don't even need a conspiracy. That's the conspiracy. That's my conspiracy. But below the conspiracy, there's just natural incentives. Massey and Paul make money off of grandstanding. They make money off of just, pushing themselves out there like that. So it doesn't surprise me at all that they took that. It's just got really, they pushed it to its limit. And probably pushed it too far in the case of at least Thomas Massey, because we're going to see them crash and burn soon if they really do have a heavy primary funded against them. Caden for 2. That remark was to the okay, yeah, all right, understood, sir. Cherokee Bear for 2. On the bright side, TMC died a virgin. Who is he referring to? TMC. I don't know what you're referring to there, but okay. But yeah, no. Overall, that it's hard to glide from that to like summing up the show about the horrible event. It's like, oh yeah, Grok anime girl, weird furry. Oh no, Trump. I was gonna bring up.
I'm gonna loop it back to the Trump assassination thing. I'm just gonna read off what I put in my server for the announcement. 1 year ago, God saved us all from apocalyptic gay race communism with an actual miracle. Thank you, Father in heaven, for saving us from a horrible fate as a nation. We will never surrender our nation, and we will never quit as long as there is work to be done. Be with us still, and be with President Trump. The youthful American nation will live, overcome, and prosper what troubles and trials face her in the future.
Right. And God bless. That's a beautiful message, and it's pretty much completely coincides with what I was saying, which is just, yeah, we're not surrendering. Trump didn't surrender our country. We're not surrendering our country, and we will have roadblocks. We will have speed bumps. We will have problems show up, but none of that is going to stop me from advocating for what I believe improves the lives of the people here today and the people here tomorrow. And I will do my best while doing that to put a smile on the faces of the people who came before us, that died and bled for all of us. I want to put a smile on their faces, but I'm also going to do my best for the well-being of everybody here today. And that sums up.
I remember, it was a Saturday. I remember very clearly. I had just gotten back from my July National Guard drill before I shipped off to basic. I hadn't gone through basic yet, so this was my third one. We were doing land navigation out at a camp that the Texas Guard owns. And I remember getting back to my friend's house because I stay at my friend's house because his house is only 15 minutes away, whereas my house is a whole hour from where we go to. I was about to hop in the shower and clean myself up, and I had just been thinking about, and they had mentioned that some shit they were making changes to the Guard. They were going to make it so that college was better, more fun. So I was like, oh shit, sweet. So like it's going to be even easier for me to call college now. I was thinking about college. I was thinking about the future. I'm thinking, okay, cool. This is going to be like good for me. And then the fucking I open up Twitter and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like President Trump, like shots fired, Trump hit in the air, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, are you serious? And like for the next hour, I'm basically calling family and friends like, holy fucking shit, they just tried to kill Trump. And I remember that over the following few days, it's like he barely missed it because he turned it there to look at the immigration statistic. It grazed him. They immediately took, like, I don't understand how you can see what happens there and not take that as a sign that Trump has the fucking mandate. Trump is literally, I'm not going to say Trump is the Messiah or whatever. I'm not some schizo evangelical, but it's very clearly God favors one camp over the other here. So it's no wonder we've been getting a lot done. And we're going to have, we can't get complacent. It's been a year since that happened. It's been a year since we were millimeters from literally the worst possible thing happening to this country with a vice president who did not give a shit and was willing to demographically replace us and gaslight us into thinking we were wrong and simply telling anyone to the right of her, well, actually, you're wrong and I'm a girl boss, fuck you. People do not understand just how fucking close we came to permanently losing.
Right. And that the permanence is what people don't really understand. And I like to use the term when it comes to Trump as anointed. And anointment is something that we believe in Christianity happens to leaders all over, whether they're good or bad. God anoints them to their position. And we really saw in that moment, in the moment of the attempt on his life where, you know, just millimeters would have changed it or the angle of his head would have changed it. We saw God essentially anoint Trump in that moment and as the person to carry out the mission for the next 4 years. And that's something we take into account when we run all of this, when we think about all of these issues, when we think about who we're supposed to back. It's not just that we need to because we worship Trump or something. It's because, well, we think God put him there, and we also think there's nobody else. There really is nobody else. If you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in providence, if you don't believe in all of these things, you believe the bare fact that there is nobody else for this movement. And so that's one of the...
I have a very, very militantly atheist friend I have known since middle school, early high school. And shortly after that happened, he told me that if there was anything to persuade him, he's also very right-wing, very big Trump supporter, like very big right-wing atheist type. He told me that if there is anything to convince him in the existence of God, then the survival of Donald Trump in 2 separate assassination attempts is pretty fucking good evidence.
Right. So that's how we feel about it. That's how we feel about our president. We're going to be behind our president pretty much no matter what. There's very few things the president can do to push us away. And it's primarily because we know that's where our future is. I know that's where my future is. I know that's where my family's future is. No matter what I want, the best future for my family will come from supporting Trump and supporting Mar-a-Lago against the establishment. So just keep that in mind when you are, you know, analyzing, evaluating our takes, or if you happen to disagree, understand that that is part of the calculation. Part of the calculation. If you ever wonder what biases I have and what my possible underlying agenda is, I will support something or oppose something based off of how I think it affects me personally. I'm like, that is my ultimate bias. It really is. I don't care. Like, these principles and everything, they're very nice. And I hope we can all gather around some of them, but I'm really thinking about the results for my family. When I go through these things.
My analysis is really simple. I'm being deployed to a nondescript Middle Eastern country next year for 9 months. If it were Harris or any other Democrat, they would actively, or like any bloodthirsty neocon, they would drag us into war with Iran.
No.
I am perfectly fine with the idea of going to war. I would be fine with seeing action, seeing combat against some chest candy, but I don't want to go to war. I'll do it if my country asks me to. I literally signed a contract and swore an oath to protect and defend the Constitution and the people of the United States. But President Trump is the only person who understands how that actually fucking plays out in terms of foreign policy, and he's the only one who's actually fucking pro-veteran, so, and like pro-service members. So yeah, no wonder I support Trump so hard. He's the one president who's not gonna fucking mobilize me, boots on the ground, put me in fucking Arabistan and say, cool, ruck march to fucking Tehran and shoot everybody you see.
Right. So we hope, along with us, that you guys continue supporting President Trump. Oh, one last super chat before I close the stream. Chancer 5, who's the worst schizo right-wing account? Nick's bad, but personally I can't stand Evan Kilgore. They're the worst. I'm just going to answer very vaguely and broadly. The worst schizophrenic accounts are the ones who are looking for the clicks the most, and their mind is guided by the response they get, the dopamine hits that they get. That's the worst kind of person, and there's a billion of them around that we could talk about. Just people who don't really care about what they're saying, but when they get the likes and the retweets, they keep saying it. I dislike. It's not just grifters. I know it sounds like I'm describing a grifter, but there's schizophrenics that start actually believing things based off of what reaction they get from the crowd. It's a really bad mixture of bad habits and bad emotional responses. Please emotionally regulate yourself online. Please keep yourself in some relationship to reality. Do not let the internet consume you. But yeah, otherwise, just please pray for our president and pray for our country as we go forward. God bless each and every one of you. God bless the United States. And Godspeed to all of you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
bit of a